Hi guys! Okay, today's topic is Ready Player One, the book, and my love of the 80s. Okay, how I came across it. Following a guide here. I knew of the movie, and when I was op shopping, one day I saw it and was like, oh, it's based on a book, and bought it. I haven't watched the movie. Okay, what I've read thus far 18 chapters. What it seems like to me. Not a facts channel, so take what I say with a grain of salt. And who I would recommend it for. I think what makes it so amazing for me is the 80s references. It's perfect for people who grew up in the 80s as nostalgia. And there is a huge difference from the movie to the book in terms of the pure amount of references and the focus point of the references is 90% 80s or before the 80s or a franchise that started in the 80s or earlier. Based on what I've seen of the movie, and also just because I just know the way that it is in the book just wouldn't sell to the movie audience. Because often movies don't portray thoughts. I also feel like the movie's target audience was people that would love a virtual reality world like the one in Ready Player One. Whereas I think the target audience for the books was 80s nostalgia who also liked that. The main character literally just lists the stuff he's watched, read, played, listened to, etc. And I'm not just meaning a little. Like, I'm being dead serious when I say 50% of the book is him listing that stuff. If you don't want to believe me, that's fine, but I'm not being dramatic. I literally underline every reference of authors, movies, TV shows, games, books, comics, and science fiction and fantasy magazines, as well as magazines for tabletop role-playing games like Dragon Magazine. So I have an idea. I absolutely love this because I love and am super fascinated with the 80s. I've bought and seen hundreds of movies and shows on DVD from then. I've bought the SNES Classic Mini, SNK 40th Anniversary, Atari 50th Anniversary, Capcom Arcade 1 and 2, and Namco Museum Archives Volume 1 and 2, collections of arcade games for PS2, Steam, or Nintendo Switch. I've read and databased a huge article on 80s fashion. I've listened to so many albums from 80s artists, starting with the albums from that time period. I have a John Clute science fiction encyclopedia, which I've made a video about, which talks about classic science fiction up to 1995, and I've started a ton of science fiction and fantasy magazines up to that point, preferring to read the magazine versions first, but still collecting the eventual novels of, for example, Purin and Dune, as well as starting and buying a ton of science fiction and fantasy novels that were originally novels. I've also done so much research on IMDb 80s teen movie lists, and have so many databases on all of these things, as well as 80s teen actors. I'm interested in society's pop culture modern evolution. I think the 80s was a big change because of the fact that they were in some parts of the world recovered from the war, and there were huge lifestyle changes. There was a pop culture explosion. Firstly, in technology, popularization or everyday home use, or an explosion of video games, computers, home video game consoles, internet, cable, Wi-Fi, telecommunications, Walkmans, CDs, VHS tapes, cassette tapes, boomboxes, floppy disks, microwaves, digital cameras, synthesizers, and arcades. Secondly, in movies and TV, cable, music videos, and the teen movie craze. Thirdly, in music, synthesizers and music videos. Fourthly, in societal norms, think Madonna, Boy George, Queen, and counterculture. Fifthly, in politics, think Ronald Reagan and conservatism. Sixthly, there was a fitness craze. Think Jane Fonda home workout. And seventhly, fashion is too big a list, but here's some notable examples. Logoed t-shirts, hairspray, branding, big, bold, bright, colorful neon. Also sportswear, jeans, and leg warmers. I love pop culture, and I think the 80s was the huge, explosive, drastic push that made it what it is today. Hence why I love that era so much. It's so fascinating to me and is a huge part of my life. My love does trail down to a lesser extent into the 90s, and to an even lesser extent the 2000s, since I was extremely young during that time, born in 2003. So that's my explanation of why I think it's so different to the movie, and why I know why people like me and people from the 80s love it so much. But if you're not the same as me, or not from that era, I'm not sure if you'll like it, because 50% of what you'd be reading is him shoving references down your throat, a lot of which you may not know. It's not like hidden Easter eggs that you can only see if you pause, and even then it's blurry and small in the movie. You can't avoid it. Outside of that, it's about a future world affected by climate change and a man named Holiday who created a virtual world way more advanced than the virtual reality we have now, and who created a virtual school system, and a lot of people spend a lot of time in it. You access it by putting on a visor, etc. And this man Holiday, when he died, created an egg hunt competition open to anybody who could access his virtual world, which was kind of like anybody owning a console. This competition involved finding 3 keys and gates in his virtual world, which is called the Oasis, to win the ultimate prize of owning Holiday's fortune and the Oasis. And he says a rhyme that gives hints or clues to the first key, and once you get that, you get another rhyme. The egg hunts' answers would be stuff from Holiday's childhood, where he was a geek in the 80s, and experienced a lot of pop culture in the 80s because he was passionate about it. The story follows a poor, unfortunate boy who lost his parents and lived with an abusive family. This boy was a Gunter, short for egg hunter. Nobody could figure out the answer to the rhyme and or get the key for years, and this boy figures it out and gets the key and goes up against a corrupt, evil mega corporation who also want the fortune, as well as races against the world. This competition changed the world so that everything 80s became the normal again, because most of the world had spent years studying everything 80s. A lot had given up, but most of the world tried because of the incentive. So the world became obsessed with everything the 80s. They were wearing the fashions, using the technology, etc. Now, lastly, I just want to say my main reason of pointing out the difference between the book and the movie is so that you don't, spend 20 bucks or whatever it is to buy the book and then are like, oh, I have to read 50% of what I'm reading right now is 80s references, which wasn't like how the movie was, and I don't want to do that. Right? So, yeah. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to know me a bit better, and who knows? Maybe I piqued your interest in the 80s and Ready Player One. Alright. See you guys next time. Bye.